Welcome, welcome. Thank you for inviting Rovio. It's a real pleasure being here among the entrepreneurs and the different thinkers of the world. My story is about a company who was, the company was actually formed 2003 by young guys, 20 plus years of age, and they truly believed what they were doing, and they were one of the best in the world, but it took 8 years to come across with a brand that you actually can wear and talk about to millions. Angry Birds, and it's back again. Fantastic. Now, these are the original pictures of the Angry Birds from the time when we had only 12 people working in the company. We just sacked 38 people because we did just not have enough money. So these are the original pictures. The whole story and the game and the storytelling is based on the characters and personalities behind of these characters. Each one of you fit into a certain type of Myers-Briggs personality, and so do these guys. The story was actually built into a game which is then launched in a platform, the most powerful platform in the world. That changed the world in 2007. Not only did it bring companies under who were successful by that time, but it actually gave it a chance for 12 people to reach a million audience in that time. The whole game is based on characters which you can demonetize. And if you have played the Angry Birds game, could you please raise up your hand if you have played Angry Birds game? That's quite right, because the China brand recognition of the game is 94%. We're still working on the 6%. We're not sure what those guys are doing. But here is a shadow, and that's our CMO shadow casting over the birds who are actually looking into a mighty eagle. Our marketing CMO is called Mighty Eagle. A person who actually then takes a leaps and bounds and puts this into a map of the media and sets us targets together with the CEO that hard to achieve. And only sardines, by the way. Okay, so our first target was reaching to 100 million. And it really sounded like, it's not going to be possible. Why? Because Tetris took 25 years to get to 100 million downloads. This is a very, very old graph of where we are today, but it actually talks about the business and the insight, what we are actually here to accomplish. This brand is built not with a marketing budget. Our marketing budget still today is $0. We have not spent a dime on marketing. Everything what we do is sales. This is about the fans and the brand. And the fans who are passionate. It's 1.7 billion downloads by the day, the application. So it's more than the total smartphone market as of today. So it gives you good coverage, but the platform is the key, the distribution. We tried videos. We bought an animation company 2011. At that time, we used the animation just to challenge and tease the incumbent big brand builders. And by doing so, we realized that actually the animated content was a very good way to engage with the fans and the audience. And today, we are confident to launch something new back on this one, because we have 1 billion views on our videos, and that is a good start. Then we thought about the China strategy. The China is actually one of the key markets for us. It's the #2 market of the US. It's the largest growing market what we have. And we thought, what should we do if we have discovered that the Hollywood model is broken? Scarcity is not the name of the game. The game is that you have to be available everywhere and everywhere where your fans are. We call it all-screen strategy. We package this all-screen strategy into a form of bring Rovio to China, package China, and bring it to the world. So we've been launching different type of games with the Chinese characteristics, stories that we find maybe as Westerners entertaining, and here again, there might be some deeper cultural stories and meanings for the Chinese audience. But we didn't start from here. We actually started from Okay, here we go. So we started from something what we all can recognize. Seasons was the second game we launched, and we started to explore this one through the hearts and minds of people who actually love Valentine's Day, or possibly deeply connected to the Irish culture, just loves to hunt the eggs like the green band piggies, or who's really connected to the cultures like Japan through the Hanami season, where you can actually dress the characters and deeply customize them to fit the storytelling in that particular festive season, including Matilda in the middle, the white bird. Summer. Summer is an extremely important part of our business. Why? Finland is a country of 5 billion people. We work damn hard from the winter months, that's about 11 months, and then we take off for a month, So there's a lot of time to do a really, really good work during the time when it's dark and miserable out there, and you just put your really thoughts on it. Come to summer, you really have to build something new. This was a time when we actually built a game that we released every day, new chapter. So we release a new content continuously, keep the fans connected, keep the story fresh. We can craft years and years of stories, and we just keep on releasing it on a daily basis. And then you connect that larger brand. Angry Birds wishing good luck for the Chinese athletes last year's big summer game with another big brand. Back to school, education. So what we stand for as a company? We stand for 3 E's. We stand for entrepreneurship. We try everything. If it works, mainly, 1 out of 10 works. We really push hard and we make a business out of it. Second, education. We want to learn every day, and we want to share what we have learned with the audience. We want to connect with the startup scene, entrepreneurs, people who actually are making a change in the world of the large corporates. And finally, the last E is entertainment. Back to school campaign for us to tie back into how important it is to go back to school, and how important actually is to use these platforms to do an introduction of new characters like Stella, a girl bird challenging Barbie with an attitude. Social media gave us a platform to communicate these new characters to over 20 million people immediately and instantly. Angry Birds also started to study again the Chinese culture, and again this one was something that the Western world did not really know, and we practiced the following way. It's about Moon Festival. Moon Festival brought into the game sounds, colors, So mooncakes are now something what is very traditional. You can find them in the different shapes and forms and packaging, and it is part of our contribution to bring China to the world. Ham or wheat, a very, very American season, I would say. Packaging these different characters again and bring those into the western part of the world. Christmas, very much celebrated, of course. Here we are looking into a way to launch animated content in the form of comics and then bring the Christmas calendar to hundreds of millions of people where they can open up and study, for example, in Harbin City, where the Ice Festival of the Angry Birds City has been celebrated just this year. So, taking the online content and bringing it into the offline, large events, everywhere where your fans could connect with the brand in a meaningful, significant way, is the business where we want to be. Our job is to connect with the fans in surprising and delighting ways. We also do tie-ups. Angry Birds Rio was a way to bring the birds into a new continent of South America. A way to actually connect again into a cultural context and very, very rich content in those countries. But it becomes a good business as well. The box office, when you use a media platform where you have 10 billion ad impressions, which is by the way more than many of the large global media houses can actually produce, you can communicate directly through the game something which is relevant then for the fans. In this case, it was a movie. This brings us into the next platform. This platform is not available in China. It is Angry Birds Friends on the Facebook. And here you can connect to a new audience. It is an audience of, slightly older in age. Won't you take me closer? Far away, far away. It's waiting night and my heart's on the loose. By playing the game, watching the video, you can actually connect back into the Green Day's latest album and download music which is not available by any other means. Again, a possibility to bring the real life of online and offline events together. Running a tournaments, and then on social media. There are 2/3 of the companies in US which are working on social media. They get into social media because it seems to be the right thing to do. However, 2/3 of the companies do not reply back every tweet, every question they receive. If you are in the business on social media, I hope you do, because in this line of business we realize that the biggest opportunities may just come from there. Here's a retweet from NASA when we had a bit of a conversation over the Next Man mission in 2011. One thing leads to another. We talk more, we go on site, we explore the last man mission to International Space Station. We continue the conversation and we realize that NASA is a great brand, but the brand which stands for young people, rusty engine, tax burden, and so 1960s. Finding the partners who actually then benefit from it. We don't have a sponsor like Heineken. It's not a family brand, even tasty it is. But so we look for somebody who actually then would really benefit from these big launches, operators, brands. And here's a guy, don't know who he is, playing an Angry Birds on a Samsung Smart TV. So every screen matters for us, from the smallest to the biggest. Other tie-ups, what then makes sense, is then to find the brand fit. For us, it has been really the National Geographic, the large newspapers and magazines. Then we listen to fans. They tell us that they so much like the game that they want to see the live events of these. We launched one in Singapore Airport. It was a test run. It was there for about 2.5 months. Singapore Airport had about 50 million visitors last year throughput. And in the last 2 months, they had 10 million people exposed to the Angry Birds brand and the temporary setup of the Angry Birds space. Such a good idea it is, and you get the feedback from the fans that now we have spoken to the Kennedy Space Center and Houston, and we have now live events built into those space centers. Integrating the brand and the experience of the Angry Birds together with NASA. Last summer we launched a product called Amazing Alex. Amazing Alex is a game which really challenges your creativity. Many of these games actually have a lot to do with the creativity and problem solving. Everyday job what we do in entrepreneur life. And you've got to be brave.
The game is all tied up. It's 7-9, 2 out with runners on first and second. This right here is what we call a make-or-break moment, baseball fans. We just back on the mound. Oh, one. I think it was something to take a look at.
So never mind the broken window, sometimes things don't go as you plan. So what we have learned also when we're working in Asia and China is that you have to really customize, you have to be relevant for the local audience. If the sport, what you present, does not resonate in China, it may resonate very well in the neighboring countries, but you have to localize. That's one of the key learnings. The other branch what we launched was that biggies. It was a response back into the fans who said that, well, you haven't really taken sides, have you? Because you talk so much about the Angry Birds and those green pigs who actually are very entrepreneurial, who are actually not giving up and who are doing all they can to get what they so much desire. And Bad Piggies is again a platform for us to give creativity. Here is a vehicle which you can build in a game, and it is a transformer vehicle. It's a way for us to bring the other part of the story alive. If the fans then also communicate to us that what kind of consumer products they want to have, then we need to respond back. Here is a girl who's wearing an Angry Birds or Bad Piggies helmet in this case, and we bring it into a real life. So from somebody's own home innovation, we get feedback, constant feedback, thousands of pictures coming through. What do you want? That constant communication with the fans gives us also the opportunities to monetize the consumer products. Here's an example of a partnership in China. We team up with a company and a very, very large organization called Mailman Group. It's a people's publishing. They publish all the government documentation, all the school books and Mao's Red Book and Angry Birds cookbook. That's pretty much about the portfolio they do. What did we do on this regard? We took all their requests. We changed the Finnish blue sky into a Chinese red color. We customized the content, and we actually were able to then use the market for the common benefit of communicating how important it is family time and cooking. Very American example of the Angry Birds is then on the Star Wars. Star Wars, which was just purchased by Disney, and the LucasArts brought us into an exploration under this space team to look at what the characters actually can do in a very strong branded environment, and how can you bring these characters again into real life products from the story of the Star Wars into a playable, collectible, toys. Christmas events has been really big part of our overall portfolio. Christmas, which has not even been celebrated in many of the countries where we operate in Asia, we have brought the Angry Birds as part of the new, consumer phenomenon. And the statistics. So when it is a time for a break, you can actually find the massive download numbers. Our servers are collecting more and more information on everyday consumption of the digital content. Over the Christmas week, we had 30 million Angry Birds downloads. Monthly active users soared to 263 million. And Angry Birds downloads was for every new device during the Christmas break. That has brought us to 2013. 2013 presents for us the largest, biggest launch ever done in the games and entertainment history. We converted 1.7 billion applications with a free upgrade to a video channel. And now in your Angry Birds games, you don't only have the button of play, but you also have the button of watch. Tunes which are now brought to you every week, new episodes. And this is the way how we can again communicate with the fans in a meaningful way about the Angry Birds characters and the world they live in. It's a simple UI where you just scroll through the new broadcasted content, and it is available on every possible device, and it's a high entertainment value. If I summarize our 3 years journey on the brand with zero marketing budget, is that you have to take every opportunity. Whatever you do, you've got to brand yourself and your service. You have to treat your customers as fans, because they decide your future. And in our case, even the free products, our fans are never the product. We follow 3 simple steps: get, keep, and monetize. We don't dream about the money. We dream about the delight, the surprise, the way to be everywhere where the fans are. If everybody plays Angry Birds, if all families watch the movies, and many people consume the products, that's where we have to be. And that's why the video channel. And I would like to play one more video. And by the way, go and see The Croods. Fantastic movie. Premiere on this week, opening up in China next weekend. crown of entrepreneurship.